Welcome back to Mind Trick Media. Today we're a little giggly. So, this has been in production for 4.5 hours now. So we're gonna be doing another. Oh yeah, this guy's back on. I was held against my will. Star Wars Episode 2. First thoughts, go.
It's great.
Your favorite so far? Better than 1?
No.
Okay.
For me, no.
Misa like the movie.
I would definitely put 1 before 2.
Okay, so you're on the right track so far.
Thanks. It's a good start.
No other immediate thoughts? Who's your favorite character in this one? We're going a little off the rails for this one. I'm just firing questions at you. Favorite character?
I liked Anakin probably the most.
Ah, you're right. Perfect. We got another one. Favorite scene?
I don't know if he's allowed to say that on air, but
Fuck, I don't know.
Favorite lightsaber scene? Did he watch it for you? I believe.
It's hard to remember which one was the second and the third one. So
Okay, yeah. So he cheated. We're supposed to watch them in order and talk about them in order, but they decided to watch 2 and 3 in the same night. So now he doesn't know what's 2 and what's 3. So we start off. First scene doesn't matter. No.
the first scene is when Padme is coming in to Coruscant for the bill to be signed, and her ship gets blown up with her decoy on it.
Did you
That was the
understand what
first
was
scene.
happening there?
yes, it was a political assassination attempt. Yes.
Okay. All right. Immediately we jump to this elevator scene where we see Hayden Christensen. Now, and the worst image of Obi-Wan we get.
Space Jesus. We get Space Jesus in this
Space
one.
Jesus. Yeah. So, how'd you feel about those little creepy crawlies that they put in Padme's room? Those give me the ick every single time that
I
see
think
them.
what bothered me more was how Anakin killed them. It was super fucking.
It was really funny watching him watch the scene because he was like, "What the fuck?" And then all of a sudden, Obi-Wan just goes sprinting and dives out the window, and he was like,
There's 30,000 floors. It just jumps like
Yeah.
Superman dives out the window. Which, by the way, that was supposed to be like, I'm assuming bulletproof or like laser-proof glass. Dove directly through it.
"Yeah,
I don't know how that works, but yeah.
Did the hole close after? Because that thing like lets them in. Was that just for that and then it closed, right? Or did he jump out of that hole?
That hole was the size of this microphone.
I mean, if he's asking if it was already broke, would it be easier to break?" I'm assuming it broke because like they had
I
to
don't
get
work
in.
with glass, so okay, so
I thought it was weird. I don't know what they were gonna do. Like I don't know what those creatures did or what they were going to do. I'm assuming they were just gonna like.
now
I mean, so when Jango
they're
Fett,
Okay.
they would have poisoned and killed her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that another one of her decoys though?
no, that was
No, that
actually
was
her
her,
in the
okay.
bed.
Before we get to that too, though, do you like? So obviously, you and McGregor played episode 1, episode 2. Do you think the jump from Jake Lloyd to Hayden that they look similar, or that it was a good jump in time gap? Like when you saw him for the first time, do you think that he was what you thought Anakin was going to look like?
I actually kind of think visually they kind of look the same. At Jake Lloyd when he was younger, he kind of looked like Hayden Christensen. I could imagine Hayden Christensen looking like that when he was younger, to be honest with you. Obviously, when Jake Lloyd grew up, he doesn't look quite the same as he did when he was a kid. But
That might be because of the.
yeah, but I thought it was actually
Yeah.
really good. They looked relatively similar.
Well, I didn't
felt
ask you, but
I don't think
I
it
feel
was
like they did.
I don't think it was too big of a
they don't look like completely.
right. It's
Anywhere
not
close.
like you think they don't look close?
Oh, I was just asking. Like
No, I think they look like
I kind of knew Hayden played him before we saw the first one, so like the jump was like that's just what it is.
Right.
But you're seeing it for the first time, so
well, I mean, I know Hayden played in them too, because he has posters all over the fucking room of fanboy.
Hey man, that's
Hayden's
not,
plastered
yeah,
right there.
But also so is Natalie Portman. So, and then some nice pictures of Leia over there.
Jesus.
Can they see that? They cannot
No,
see
they
it.
cannot see that at all.
I'm assuming you guys have seen these, but up on the wall, there's the posters of the
It's
the
like the
six
movie
Star Wars
posters.
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So dude, they make Luke so ripped in Episode 4's poster.
Yeah, the poster's
Mark Hamill's
ridiculous.
never looked like that. Anyway, back to the second movie. So what happens next? We have the bar scene.
I mean, they go chase after her, right? And then, yeah.
Yeah, how did you feel about the changer? Cool ship, cool gun.
Yeah, I thought it was. I don't know. It didn't like. I don't even know what I would say to that. It was whatever in my like. It was just.
Were you like? That's the first time we see that species. Was it kind of like, ooh, that's a fucking weird species?
No, I think it made sense for what sort of job they try and get.
That's true.
You know, I think it fits very well with what they're trying to accomplish in their life.
Well, right before the bar scene, like heading into the bar, I was making fun. As much as I love Hayden Christensen, I was making fun of him with his bloopers that he has, where he's always like tripping and falling. Have you seen those videos? I was telling him about it, and I was like, "Yeah, right." In that scene, he runs in between those two people and then just face plants on the ground.
Yeah, so if you want to look them up, there's some funny scenes for that entire scene. Because
Yeah.
like Obi-Wan driving the ship is kind of, they have some funny scenes, and then
He like breaks the handle off of it.
yeah, there's the scene they're referencing is when Anakin's doing that like sprint down like the streets. There's a scene where he like trips over like a almost like a box container and just does a fucking flip, and it's kind of funny.
Is that where George Lucas makes the cameo too? Is that in that scene?
No, it's in the third
It's
movie.
in the third movie?
Fucking hell. All right. I was like that.
Getting ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
I think we clearly know which one's his favorite movie.
All right,
He keeps
we're
talking
not talking about
it.
it. This is episode 2.
This
Jesus.
is awful. This is so bad.
Okay, so bar scene happens. How do you feel about them basically in Star Wars, them like still having cigarettes? Do you know what scene I'm talking about? Where the guy walks up
Yeah,
to Obi-Wan at the bar and says, "You want to buy some death sticks?"
Yeah.
He's like, "You don't."
Yeah.
you don't
He
wanna
like
sell
completely changes his mind. I mean, they have cigarettes. I would have a cigarette too.
There's a galactic republic, and there's like a war going on.
Right. I'd be
Smoke-
stressed as fuck.
Smoke fucking cigarettes. Okay, we got to get into interesting things before he flips out. Okay. First time we see Django. Was that a cool scene?
He thought it was Boba. So it's just such a weird spot with Ryan because he knows small different things about the different movies, especially like the originals because of Family Guy making fun of the originals, right? So he's seen some characters. He's like, "Is that supposed to be Boba Fett?" I was like, "No."
I think that's a really cool scene because it was just like such a like they're trying to get information and you just see the poof of that dart come out and you just see him like take off. I'm like, that dude's gonna be fucking awesome. Like I just remember watching it one of the first times, just thinking that. Okay, so then
Then they go back to then Obi-Wan goes and finds him, right? Is that the next scene for that?
Well,
Well,
they split.
with him, yeah.
They split off. So Obi-Wan goes to try to find Django, and then they go back to Naboo to protect Padme. So those are the two.
Well, that was to
different-
find his mom, though.
no.
Oh, that's and what the fuck is that planet called? Tatooine.
Yeah.
All right.
We're all over the place this episode. Okay, so we have a returning character to the show, Dex. So when they split, Obi-Wan obviously goes and he goes to that cafe, and he goes and talks to Dex. Okay, so he's a funny looking fucking character.
He looks like Stitch. That's what I said to Jordan.
The smelliest Stitch ever. So there's that scene, and you learn about the planet Camino, Did you have any prior knowledge of the planet Camino? Okay, so I think it's a funny word, Camino.
Camino.
How did you feel about them putting a very young Anakin just in charge of protecting Padme?
I mean, I thought with the love interest between them two, it was kind of like it could have been like a test for him, which obviously he failed. But
I mean, who wouldn't have failed, dude? Like,
I mean, yeah, we were talking about it a lot. So it was definitely a test for him, probably. I think he did do his duty to protect her. But
as they get captured at the end, and
well, I mean, you do your best. You know what I mean? Okay. Kept her alive, so that's good. But she's a main character, so kind of had to assume that.
Hey man, they don't give a shit about main characters in Star Wars. Besides Annie. Okay, so then we have Obi-Wan goes to Camino. Did you understand anything that was happening in that scene?
Not when it happened, because that's when he finds out that they have an army, right? That's what they find, the clones.
An army?
Yeah. So, obviously he goes to this planet to try and find whatever his name is. Jango. And then he comes across this army that they supposedly have that was made from some person who died.
Sifo Dyas.
So I wanted to get to this point for the viewers at least. So obviously me and him talk a lot about Star Wars. And we were kind of talking about, because like I feel like the consensus is that the second movie is the worst of the six. Like the clear consensus, which I don't necessarily disagree with, but this is one of those scenes that is a perfect example where this movie is hard for a casual person to watch, because there's so many people named in that scene that you have no fucking clue who they're talking about.
Yeah, and they all their names are like basically the same. It seems like it was like super confusing. Of like,
yeah. So for you guys, if you don't know, Master Sifo Dyas is mentioned in that movie, and he's supposedly the one who made this order. And then like the entire scene is like Master Sifo Dyas has been dead for over 10 years. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then they never talk about Master Sifo Dyas for the rest of the trilogy and the rest of time, basically, until
the Clone
Wars. So this is what I would say 92% of the Star Wars fan base says is, I guess, bad about Star Wars is that they don't explain a lot. I guess we're in the 8% that are like, yeah, but then they do this and they explain it. Like, it's so cool. But like,
well, right, because he asked me yesterday if it was like, do I wish I watched it like back when it came out or like earlier? And I was like, well, no, because without the Clone Wars being a TV series, I would have no. Because I'm just a casual, like I would have no idea of who these people are or what it all meant. So
he basically said to me, he was like, it's kind of nice because I can go venture out and go watch.
There's a lot
things.
more answers to things now that people still just don't care to look up.
Well, that's their fault. They want to.
I would agree.
And
I didn't say it, guys. He said it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So. That's I would say, like, out of that movie, that scene to me is one of the most confusing, because they mention you don't know what Camino is. You go to Camino. You don't know who Kaminoans are. You don't know the clones are. You don't know who Jango Fett is. You don't know who Boba Fett is. You know who Obi-Wan is, but that's only because you saw the movie before.
I don't think necessarily that it's confusing to follow the story. You're just sitting there like, what the hell is all of this?
I mean,
like,
you legitimately have no clue why these clones were created. Right. And that never really gets explained.
I mean, they just say it's for the Republic. That's all.
You have to use context clues later on in the next movie to even have an idea of what they were completely made for.
Right.
And then they also mentioned Darth Tyrannus. Do they ever explain that either?
Well, they didn't say Darth Tyrannus then. They do because
Yeah, they do.
They just say Tyrannus because they don't say Darth.
Oh, a man named Tyrannus.
Yeah, Django says it to Obi-Wan, and
Yeah.
if he would have said Darth Tyrannus, I mean,
They gave it away.
I was hired by a name named. The fuck did I just say? I was hired by a man named Tyrannus. Okay, so that scene's happened, and then you kind of figure out that Django is like an actual bounty hunter bad guy.
Right.
That is another like. That scene makes me feel cold. I just can't imagine how, because like, that's something about like that scene. Like they actually drenched both of those characters in water. It was raining on set. Like his cloaks are what he was wearing.
Right.
I don't know that kind of shit. Just like being an actor is hard.
I mean, we were talking about that a lot too, and how all these actors and stuff get shit on for these roles in these movies. But when you look at like behind the scenes and the shit that they have to see, there's nothing there. They barely have anything surrounding them, and they have to act like they're pretending like they're on Camino, and they have to act like they're there.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, they have all the choreography that they have for the fights that they have to deal with. Like, it's really interesting to look at when you look at behind the scenes in Star Wars.
I will say with Star Wars too, especially those prequels, like, dude, they do such a good job where they don't use a lot of stunt doubles at all.
No, they don't.
Like, they just let people rock.
Well,
like,
George Lucas is like, I want it to be as real as it looks.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I think they did a fantastic job. Like, literally, the actor that played Darth Maul in the first movie literally does all those, like, obviously not, like, the crazy jumps, but, like, when he, like, spins and shit and, like...
Yeah, so...
he does that shit.
You haven't seen it, obviously. I don't know how many people have seen it, but in the Clone Wars, they actually used... I forget what it's called off the top of my head. Like, motion capture. Like, for the Clone Wars season...
7.
I was fucked up if there's 8 or 7
Yeah,
seasons.
I said 8 yesterday when I was talking to him, and I
In
was like, wait,
season
that's not
7,
right.
there's like 4 episodes that are literally 9.5 to 10 out of 10s on... Basically, that's just what they're rated. Like, they're rated such good episodes, but...
For like a year,
there's
they were rated.
scenes where Maul fights a character, and they used motion capture for it. So they put him in those, like, spotted suits, and the guy that's from the first movie did the motion capture for it. So, like, about a bunch of that scenes where he's flipping lightsabers and stuff, it kind of looks a little different than the rest of the Clone Wars. It's because the real actors are doing it.
Right.
It's like, really cool.
Yeah.
Voiced by Sam Witwer. No, so where are we at?
We need to split back to
The boobies.
Jesus. We need to split back to the iconic line of Anakin Skywalker.
Well, okay.
That's about
So-
where we're at there.
There's a lot of scenes in this movie that are cut that give a lot of good context to what's
Yeah, there
happening.
is.
So, and a lot of them are Anakin and Padme on Naboo. So I'm assuming you don't know this, and I don't know if they know it. But so there's tons of scenes where they go meet Padme's parents, her sister. They do a bunch of like extra scenes when they're just on Naboo doing things,
Yeah.
and like I feel like something with them being on Naboo, it's very like, okay, this is what they're doing in the morning. This is what they're doing in the afternoon. This is what they're doing. Like, they don't actually show them, like, going to do anything. They're just doing the things.
Yeah. It's kind of just like you're not showing the love story actually happening. It's just
It's
like the
choppy.
Yeah.
So, I guess we'll get to it since we already talked about it.
I don't like sand.
So, there's this scene, and I think we mentioned it in the first episode.
We didn't say it specifically, but we were briefly
So,
starting to talk about it.
I don't know if they can see this, but, you know, wearing this shirt with one of the greatest lines in cinema history on it.
Oh, yeah.
How did you feel about this scene? Because this is like notorious. I mean, it's on a shirt for a reason. It's notorious for one of the worst lines in Star Wars. And, well, how do you feel about it?
Well, I know you're gonna hate how I feel about it. I don't think it's. I think he puts it pretty well because I agree with.
It's a shitty dialogue line.
Okay. First of all, yes, it is 100%. It's like super corny and it's super cringy, but at the same time, it's a 19-year-old kid who's never had a girlfriend, never, he's been in this.
Never talked to a girl that wasn't just another Padawan with him.
Right. He's just like, he's been set onto this path of life that doesn't give him a social life, or not like he doesn't have a social life, but he's very
Intimate.
intimate. Is that what you
Like,
said?
he didn't have an intimate life with
Well,
anybody.
right, yeah. So he's just like an awkward, geeky kid at this point, and so for him to like put together like a Romeo and Juliet style line to Padme just doesn't seem right, because it's like,
I love the way you put that, and basically, like, we talked about it from like just like dialogue standpoint. It's like, what the hell was that? But from
Get
Anakin
ready for this.
but from an Anakin Skywalker following the story perspective, there's so many things that make this make sense. And George Lucas deliberately went out of his way to make dialogue a specific way with Anakin. He took like old like fucking Greek god like type flirting into consideration when he made this and stuff like that. Like, they'll say something so absurd and then they just wrap back around and say, oh, it's about you. Like, you know what I mean? And he's like, I don't like sand. And then, you know, he turns it back to where it's about her. And like,
You ever had a pickup line that just fucking failed and then she still,
oh my,
still
yes.
kisses you?
Oh no. But yes, I've had.
Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely not.
hey, you got your next line, bud. Do that one.
Oh, shit. Someone else go.
But in all seriousness, like,
Oh, my God.
as a Star Wars fan, I absolutely, I love it.
Oh, yeah. No. Sorry. Oh, shit.
But, I mean,
Apologies for the interruption again and again.
yeah. But no, seriously, me personally, and we talked about it, he agrees with me as well. I mean, we've kind of talked about it. But from a Star Wars story perspective, for Anakin Skywalker's character and how George Lucas how George Lucas wrote his character, the line makes sense for why Anakin would have said something as ridiculous as this.
The only, like, okay, because this line is terrible. Like, I love this line. And it's for, like, a few different reasons. I love this line because there is, like, the semi kind of confirmed, not confirmed backstory of basically he doesn't know what to say. And, like, that's just the only, like, it's one of those things that you say stupid shit in front of someone that you like or love just because you're like, I don't know what the fuck. Like, if that was, like, a modern teenage movie, he probably would have slapped his hand, like, face-palmed himself. But, like...
Well, I think I brought this up to him too, but, like, he also could just be so comfortable with her that he just is, like, his total self to you.
He was like showing his biggest fear.
Right.
I don't like
He doesn't
sand.
like sand.
I mean, listen, I wouldn't like saying living on Tatooine either. Like,
I don't like sand, and I live in Ohio. Fuck, they know our address now. No.
I mean, personally, I love the dialogue there. I really do.
I wouldn't say I love it, but
I love the dialogue.
I think it's funny because it's such, like... There's, like, this weird thing where they know something's going on. There's, like, a major conflict. His job is to protect this woman who is, like, a powerful Senate member. And he's, like, teenage flirting with her. And he's dumb enough that he doesn't know it. He's just so, like... I don't like sand.
I don't know. I love it. I really do. I mean, you can hate me all you fucking want. I don't care. I love the dialogue.
Are you talking to me or them?
I guess them.
You can hate everything about me.
For that one line. You
Yeah,
can
that's
hate
fine.
everything about me.
I mean,
I'm the one wearing the fucking shirt.
when you got it and showed it to me, I was actually really jealous about it. Not gonna lie. I was like, I really want that. I'm gonna get a tattoo right down my forearm that says, "I don't like sand."
First off, you started at your bicep.
Oh yeah,
But like, honestly, I think someone someone should donate
We
a
should put
bet
it on
money.
a chain.
Like, somebody please send us comment like $50. He'll get that tattoo, and send it to me, and I'll make sure he gets the tattoo.
send us.
That just
$50.
says right here. I don't like sand.
I'll get it written in like the Star Wars like font.
You get it written in like Latin. So it's like, well, what does that say? It's like, I don't like sand.
She's gonna be like, okay. What's that from?
What does that mean?
Is that from Dune Part 2? Fuck.
Like, you're out. So where are we at now with the Obi-Wan?
I have no fucking clue.
We got to jump back to Obi-Wan now because that's where we're at.
he follows.
Oh, he fights Jango.
So we see the coolest ship in Star Wars.
yeah.
So he's fleeing. He throws a tracker beacon on them. I don't know why that sounded weird in my head. I don't think we're allowed to say the name of that ship.
I
I'm
wouldn't
not
say it.
going to. That's the coolest ship in Star Wars. It's something
Do you want me to
number
say it?
1. No.
Okay.
That's one of the coolest ships in Star Wars just because of A, the sound, B, the sound of the gun, and C, the sound of those fucking
Seismic charges.
Dude, the seismic charges are one of, like, there's like tons of memes and shit that they randomly surfaced a couple years ago.
Yeah,
where-
because The Mandalorian came out and
I
they redid
guess.
it.
Just imagine watching that in a movie theater too. Like,
That would've
Yeah,
been
for the
how
first
nuts.
time.
fucking loud that
Dude,
would've
because
been.
they do like that perfect where they like,
Right.
It's so quiet.
Right.
But like, I just remember seeing pictures. It was like pick one of your favorite sounds, and it's like four squares on a grid, and it's like baseball bat crack of the sound, a basketball swoosh, like I don't remember what the other one was, and then it's just that seismic grenade. I think I've seen some that there was like a sword being sheathed, like shing.
I would say baseball bat, but yeah, I like the sound too.
Yeah, so I guess we can jump back to now
He follows them to Geonosis.
to Geonosis, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we jump back to Anakin. He's having a nightmare about his mom. And we're probably going out of order, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think doesn't he overhear them? Doesn't Obi-Wan overhear?
He's listening to the council
To
of people
Joe-
on Geonosis.
Yeah,
Geonosis.
Genesis with an O. In
I
it,
feel like
but-
I feel like we go back to Anakin and Padme's story
We
because
probably do. I mean, we don't need
all right,
to go
well,
in order.
well, let's just go back to Anakin and Padme. So Anakin's having a nightmare, right?
Wouldn't you figure?
Oh, shut up. So Anakin's having a nightmare over his mother dying, and he's like, I have to go get her, right?
We didn't talk about the late night scene. The Nabooby scene.
movie.
Yeah, I guess. So we get another scene where they're having dinner together and they're like flirting, and then all of a sudden we cut to like their night after their dinner,
Oh, with the black dress.
where she puts on that black.
Oh, you know that black dress where you can see it?
where she puts that outfit on, and we're all sitting here like
That was not a friendly, hey, you're guarding me outfit.
Yeah, that's not a hey. I'm putting this on, and I'm gonna tell you we can't be together. Like
That kiss, we shouldn't have done that kiss.
Yeah,
And he's just
like-
like, well, why shouldn't we have?
yeah, like he's confused. You're older than he is. First of all,
Right.
Dude, it's like,
Like-
4 years.
it's 5. I mean, it's 5, right?
Someone could
It's
be
5
so
years.
much more mature in 5 years.
I mean, I
but-
feel like she should be. She's been a queen,
Right.
and now she's a senator. Like she should be more.
She was a queen at 14.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, you grow up fucking fast, bud. You start smoking cigarettes at 12, you're gonna.
that sticks.
That sticks, yeah.
But I mean, yeah, that was a wild ass outfit to choose to be like, oh yeah, like
We're just friends.
I kind of feel something, but we can't
Oh
be
no,
together.
Annie.
Yeah, like that's just
Feel my heart.
it's you already have a confused Anakin with everything going on in his life. He doesn't know how to even talk to her, and then she does that shit to him. Like
All of a
that's
sudden,
kind
she
of
becomes
fucked.
diplomatic.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked. Not gonna lie. But
It's definitely fucked.
anyways, back to the nightmare scene. So he wakes up and has a nightmare, and then he's like, I gotta go save my mom. Right?
She's like, I'm coming with you.
But they're just friends. Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna go with you and support you, Annie. Like, I'll be there for you.
Where are we going? Tatooine. Oh, fuck. Back there. All right, so they land there, and Anakin goes to the only place he knows to go to. Well, does he go to their house first?
No, he goes to
He
Wattos.
might go to their house, but it didn't
He goes to
show
Wattos.
it. But, like, he's like, where's my mother?
No, I think he just goes to
I
see
sold
Watto.
her.
Jeez. Maybe you can help me with
Yeah.
a bunch of deadbeats that owe me a lot of money. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. But
He's one of the funniest sounding characters. It's so fucked up, but Were you gonna keep going?
It was funny. We paused and the air conditioner turned off at the same exact time. It was
Annie?
super quiet.
Annie, young Annie, Annie.
So then they go and find his mother.
Well, they go and
Well, they
find.
don't find his mother.
Yeah, he
Oh,
goes
yeah,
to find.
His new family.
Yeah, basically
The Lars,
the Lars.
moisture farmers.
The Lars Newt.
I'm not gonna lie. The first time that I heard him say moisture farmers, I was like, "What the fuck did he say?"
Well, it's funny,
They do what?
We were watching the movie. Brad was like, "What the fuck are they farming for? There's nothing there."
You didn't hear him say moisture farming?
No, I didn't.
Do you still know what he means?
Maybe.
They're just getting water.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're legit just farming water.
Okay. How do you do that?
I'm not from Tatooine. I don't know.
I don't live in the Star Wars universe. I don't know.
Are moisture farmers real thing?
I don't know.
I mean, there's only a couple places in the world that you could be a moisture farmer.
I don't know.
What the fuck was that for?
Nothing. Different context of moisture farming.
I mean, basically, we get to. So they have like a sit down dinner or whatever, and then
Some blue milk.
they didn't have blue milk then. They had like red juice.
In a weird ass cup.
Anyways,
I think this
It
is
looked like a
this is
gas
a very
can.
weird scene for Anakin. The way he says "mother," my mother. I don't know why he says it like that. Where's my mother?
Because he's mad.
I mean, yeah, he's mad. He's concerned.
I mean, he's not necessarily mad. He's like confused and like he knows what's happening.
And then he basically explains what happened to his mom and how he lost his leg because of the Tusken Raiders and shit like that. So Anakin's like, I gotta go find her, and then just goes.
He zooms off on that thing.
As soon as
Those
well,
bikes are cool as
Yeah.
shit, aren't
yeah. As soon as he gets into the like little hut thing, he's like, "Oh, she's gonna fucking die, isn't she?" And I'm like, "Well, just watch, Bubby." And then she tries to tell him that she loves him and she can't finish it, and then she dies in his arms. And then he fucking kills everybody, like slaughters.
they? You want to say the
Everybody.
famous line?
But not just the men.
The children too.
We skipped a part.
The women and children too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so this is another scene in this movie that people fucking hate. The scene where he's in like the garage and he's fixing a bunch of just random bullshit.
Which, by the way, I'm gonna interrupt you for this one. I'm sorry, but
I was gonna let you try to explain to people why you like this scene.
well, so if you don't like the "I don't like sand" scene, I don't really give a shit. Like you, like it's whatever to me. Like you don't like it, you don't like it. I understand why you
Here
don't
we
like it,
go.
whatever. But when you watch this scene and everybody bitches about how like whiny he is during this scene, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, he just killed God knows how many fucking people. His mom just died in his arms. What the fuck are you gonna react? How are you gonna react to this? Like, tell me what he did wrong in this scene.
What do you mean? He killed a bunch of people.
Well,
That's
yeah,
wrong.
but like the acting from this scene, people complain about. And I'm
What
like,
would you have said, Tyler?
yeah, like, how would you react? I'm not talking to you, but he is apparently, but I'm not.
Well, I just
But, like,
he doesn't
how-
like it,
how
so I
would
want to
you-
know what he would say.
No, so it's not that I don't like this scene, but okay, so this is another scene that I agree with. There is some parts that are like not the greatest dialogue, but I think the problem with this movie is people think they're movie critics now, and that's if you look at films critically, like I'm not going to judge you, like a lot of people do, and there's people who like shitty movies. Not saying shitty movie, but people like shitty movies, and they look over the fact that they're a critical person that didn't think about it. But like the thing with this scene is if anything, can we stop blaming the actors, because at this time Hayden Christensen was a fucking nobody. He's been in one thing up until then, if that, and basically you're working for a franchise that has one of the most successful trilogies of all time and is basically building this space science fiction world. And the director's like, I need you to do it this, and this way. And then you do the scene, and he was like, that's fucking awesome. You're going to be like, no, this sucks. I'm going to change it.
I mean, dude, but even that scene specifically, I don't think the dialogue was bad. I watched it last night, and I'm sitting here, and I'm like, that's probably how I would have
People
been
think
if I
he's
did that.
whiny, but at the same time, like,
Oh, I can't wait till we get to the fourth movie. Talk about a whiny fucking character.
I don't know who you're referencing, and I don't really care. We'll get to it, I guess. But I think the whiny, even if you don't like the whiny, it fits the character.
Well, yeah, that's my argument.
Part of
behind
the
it.
problem is that he has been missing his mom for 10 years. He finally finds her, and she's dead. He's trying to figure out his love affair with Padme at this moment. He's trying to figure out how he's in this house that he doesn't know about, but his mom lived here for some reason. And basically, he has step siblings and shit. And he's also like
He just murdered a bunch of people.
He just murdered a bunch of people. He just had to bury his mom. Like, there's so many things that go into that scene, and he's trying to live up to the potential of being the chosen one. He's still on his Jedi duty of protecting Padme, and he just broke his
Right.
He completely broke the mandate. He's not even supposed to be there.
yeah, he broke his orders and all that kind of shit. And then, like, there's so many things that he just did wrong. And I mean, yeah, honestly, the fact that he's not just crying is
I mean, he does after that scene. He sits down with Padme and he starts bawling when the scene's over for that. But I don't know how, like, if you're paying attention to the story, I don't know how you just don't sit there and be like, if you were in his shoes with everything that just happened, you just killed a bunch of people, children as well. Even, like, they don't look...
honestly, I think the craziest part of the scene is Padme doesn't react at all when he says that. She's just like, "Oh, Annie, I'm so sorry for you. He just killed like 150 fucking people," and you're like, "I feel so bad for you."
I just don't get it. I'm like, dude, if you were in this scene, how would you have reacted? Like, if this was your reality, how would you have reacted if you just did that when you're not actually that bad of a person? I mean, he's not a bad person. I don't think he is.
He definitely becomes a bad person.
Well,
He's becoming that was the first step of becoming a bad person.
yeah.
Which is funny how Padme reacts when he becomes the bad person, because it's completely different of what you just said she did, where she just like doesn't. She just plays it off in that first scene because they're friends, but then once she's married and having a baby with him, it's like
we're not there yet, bud.
I'm just saying.
You just
Jumping
jumped.
movies.
You
We'll
just
get
jumped.
there.
You just jumped 2.5 hours of content.
I want to talk about my favorite
Plus
movie.
the last hour of the other one. You just jumped like 3.5 hours of Star Wars film, let alone a 2-year
I
gap.
had to watch 5.5 hours of it yesterday. Okay,
Problem is, Vantage, your fault.
not my fault.
Anyway, so this scene is so, like, I think this scene sticks out to a lot of people just because it's in basically solitary confinement in this room. It's two characters. It's one character spewing off his feelings, and I guess a lot of people don't give a shit. In a way, I don't know. Like, he definitely is whiny. He's whiny up in that scene, but I think he's whiny for a reason, and B, because it fits the character.
Yeah.
He's trying to, and on top of all of it, he's trying to live up to being the chosen one. And in his head, he does not know how he's the chosen one.
I mean, he feels like he should be more powerful than he is.
Yeah. I mean, and he's also been kept getting force-fed these, like, you're so powerful, you can do this, you can do that. Like, and that just keeps getting worse. And honestly, like, to an extent, like, I feel like his mom needed to die. Do you think that Palpatine had a hand in getting his mother captured and killed?
No.
You don't? You think it was just fate?
Yeah. I mean, you think about it, she's a slave and, like, you know, looking at, well, even if she was with Watto still, I mean, a Tusken Raider could have came and got her.
That's what I'm saying. Like, do you think...
No, because when
Well,
she...
no,
when,
because the Tusken Raiders don't come into town.
well, right, but when she gets sold to Owen, and, or not Owen, what is his name? I don't even know.
Lars Daddy.
Mr. Lars. And then they're out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, like, no, I don't think Palpatine had a hand in that. I mean, he basically freed her to be his wife. That's kind of what he did. At least that's what I think.
Kind of crazy.
Right. Which I'm like, is that worse than being a slave? Like, you just are like, you're gonna be my wife.
I
Is
think
that-
someone would much rather be a wife than a slave.
Well, right, but yeah, I don't think so. I just think it happened. I really do. I mean, Tusken Raiders are fucking ruthless.
Also, how did he lose his leg?
During the fight against the Tusken
I know, but
Raiders.
what did they have that made him lose his leg?
They have guns, right?
I mean, yeah, but like
Just shoot his
usually
leg
when you
off.
shoot someone's leg in Star Wars, they kind of just have like a bruise. People get shot all the fucking time.
I don't know. Could have done anything.
I don't know. Like I know a lot of people are gonna give a shit for that scene because the problem with this movie is I think a lot of people don't like this movie. And I agree that this is the worst of the 6, especially critically. This is one of my favorite movies to watch though, because I think shit happens the entire like. It's one of those movies that you can just sit and watch because so much shit happens and there's not a lot of like there's not a lot of like Oscar award winning fucking poem reading in it.
There was. I don't like saying.
No,
You
but at
read
the same
some-
time, like it's not like there's a character and it's like super quiet and he's like doing all of the like I always think of like when I think of like Oscar films, like one of the ones I always think of is Joker with Joaquin Phoenix when he's just like singing through the streets and it's a spectacle and he's like going through all this, going down a staircase and he's like running into different people and shit. And it's not one of those movies. It's clearly not. It's like
It's action packed.
it's an action sci-fi movie that is trying to give you a little bit of emotion from characters, and people are like, "Nah, fuck that, blow more shit up."
Basically, that's
And then guess what? The whole back end of that movie is blowing shit up, and everybody's like, "It still sucks." Like, what did you want?
yeah, because a lot of people complain about the CGI in that scene, and I'm just I don't understand. I'm like, you wanted the action, we finally get it, and then you complain about it. Like, it was 2002. Like, I think it looks better than some of the stuff we have now.
Some of the shit we have now is fucking terrible.
Well,
All right, where are we at?
they get a distress signal from Obi-Wan to send to the Jedi Council to go to Geonosis, and yeah, so that's where we're at. And Padme's like, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't think you should do that. We weren't told to do that. She was like, well, we already fucking left Naboo, and I'm going, which means you have to follow me. She fucking big dicks him right there.
Well, no, he loved it too because you see his reaction when she's like, and I'm going to help Obi-Wan. He like
Yeah,
smiles.
honestly,
at
Padme
her.
is the one that started Anakin not listening.
Yeah, it was kind of her fault.
All right, so they take off. They go to Geonosis, and is this the first time we see Count Dooku?
We saw Count Dooku
Well, I mean,
when they were in
in
the meeting.
Geonosis, right?
Obi-Wan got to see their
Yeah.
meeting that they were having, talking
On
about.
Geonosis.
Yeah, that is
That's
the
what I'm saying,
first
it's
time.
the first time we really
yeah,
saw
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So then we get this next scene where he's like fucking in that like in those beams, and Obi-Wan's just like spinning.
Yeah, where he's like, yeah, he's trapped up in.
Yeah, he's
the-
like binded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how did you feel about Count Dooku just spilling the beans about literally everything going on?
They do that so perfectly in so many times in Star Wars, where they tell you exactly what's gonna happen, and then everybody's like, "Nah, fuck that."
I mean, I thought it tied into like sort of like a real political issue of like you sometimes have people who will tell you exactly how things are going to go, and then people are just like, no, I believe this set of ways, and I'm going to stick to that set of ways even if it kills me or if it's wrong. But I mean, I kind of questioned it because I was like, okay, so then it kind of confused me in a way of like, so is he a good person or is he a bad person? Which obviously he was a Sith Lord, right?
Became one, yeah.
Right. So it's like, how? So it was weird that he.
Seemed
I
like
kind of thought it was cut and dry of like good and bad, but like he's sort of like in the middle of like he has some good views and then he
Has
has
some bad ones.
Right.
In the end, he wants good, but in his mind, good is still not great.
Right.
He wants the world to be good. And by that he means the Jedi need to have more control over the galaxy because they're the most powerful beings. But at the same time, he's like, well, I don't want to kill a bunch of people. But he was just like, I just don't want there to be any... Like, he's like, I don't want wars and shit to happen, even though he's starting a war. But he's like, I don't want any of this shit to happen. I just want us to have more power. Which kind of leads to wars.
Right.
But, so he's a weird character, and I think that's why I like him so much, where he, like... There's a lot of times where I don't know if he knows what he wants, because... He knows what the Jedi are doing is not good, and that something's going to happen that changes it. And then he really finds out when he meets Sidious. But at the same time, he knows what Sidious wants is way worse than what the Jedi are doing. But still chooses to go with Sidious because he thinks he can manipulate that situation better than he can the other one.
Well, yeah, I mean, he tried to get Obi-Wan to go with him.
But not just that, he pleaded with the Jedi for years.
Right. But
And
still,
they
though, even on top of all that, he tries to get Obi-Wan to like join him to kill Sidious.
It's a crazy scene.
Yeah.
And like the bringing up of like Qui-Gon in that scene.
Yeah. Qui-Gon Jinn would never join you.
I would not agree with that statement.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it would be rough for Qui-Gon to actually see like Dooku as a Sith. But if Dooku would have went to Qui-Gon like before he like fell like we see in Tales of the Jedi, I feel like Qui-Gon might have been like, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
Was Qui-Gon questionable of Palpatine? I can't remember. Like,
It was just it was too early on in the story for him to know.
okay.
There was so much more information that came out because that's when Palpatine started making moves.
Right.
Because he knew that the one guy that could like really stop him was kind of out of the picture.
Being
Like-
Qui-Gon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like he knows that in a one-to-one conversation and altercation, like Yoda and Mace Windu could stop him, but he philosophically knew the only person that could catch him before it was in his mind too late was Qui-Gon. Through Dooku as well. Like Tales of the Jedi kind of gives you the idea that it's a little like Dooku was way more gone before Qui-Gon died, but like I kind of still believe that they fucked up a little bit in Tales of the Jedi, because I don't think Dooku was really that far gone until Qui-Gon died. Like I know that that's like
I mean, he
canon,
made
and,
it-
like, I basically just said I don't give a fuck what canon said, but like at the
I
same
mean-
time, like I feel like he was way too far along in the process of being in Sidious's back pocket. Before he knew Qui-Gon was dead.
Yeah. I don't know. That's interesting. All right, let's get back to the movie because Ryan hasn't seen that. Yeah.
Battle of Geonosis.
Yeah. I told him get ready for Obi-Wan's sass, and then they get like
Good job.
they get chained up to the thing. He's like, "We decided to come and rescue you." He's like, "Good job." That's all of the Clone Wars, bud. Every 2 seconds, that's how it is.
And then Natalie Portman pops us in, and then she gets out of.
She has like a hair clip. It's literally like a bobby pin.
I want to picture it as a Zen. I'm sorry. That's funnier.
Queen Amidala, who became Senator Padme, popping zins on the Senate floor.
On the Geonosis Coliseum floor.
All right, so that scene happens. Immediately, she starts trying to do that shit. How do you feel about these creatures that they brought out onto this Coliseum floor?
I thought they were sick. I think
Which one's the scariest?
it's definitely not the rhino thing. I think I could beat that up.
You beat up a fucking
100% no, but I also agree that that's the least scary.
It's the fucking praying mantis, like...
I don't know. I feel like
Yeah.
I could get away from that thing. You know what I mean?
No.
The other one's
Well, the
chasing
other one's a
me
fucking
down.
tiger, basically. That's it's like a tiger spider, and it's like I would just faint and
It's
probably
like a
die
tiger,
if
it's
I
like
saw
a tiger
that.
spider monkey.
Right. I would
Yeah.
live to see the death of me with the praying mantis, but with the tiger, monkey, spider, I would just fucking. I'd probably kill myself before.
And that's the one. That's the one that Padme got.
Right.
Like, Jesus.
Yeah, I definitely would have beat the rhino's ass. No question.
I'll tell you right now. Nope. All right. So then, kind of get the scene of a guy creeping up on like the main platform. He's just creeping. And creeping.
Well, it was funny. We were watching it, just showed his legs, and I was like, "What's up, motherfucker?"
Surprise, motherfucker! I think it was a weird choice by Mace Windu to point his lightsaber in front of Jango, someone he doesn't know who it is. Like at that
No,
time,
they
like he
did,
does, but he doesn't. He relayed the message of
Right.
Jango Fett, but like there's a guy there that
I guess he
literally
doesn't
has a
know what
lightsaber,
Jango
and he's like,
Fett
"Let me
looks
go
like."
to the bounty hunter first."
What did you think of the purple lightsaber?
I thought it was cool.
It's purple.
Yeah.
It's purple. It's different.
We had a whole conversation of how it became purple.
Yeah, I gave him an
Um,
EU explanation for lightsaber colors, and then I also told him why Samuel L. Jackson actually got.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, so basically, when they were on set, they all got to like choose their lightsaber handles. They would come up to the actors with a case, and they would pick it. And then George Lucas was talking to Samuel L. Jackson. He was like, "Good guys have blue and green lightsabers," and he's like, "Well, what about purple?" And he's like, "Nah, I think I can get you a purple."
Well, no, it's kind of like that's not what happens. And then like later on, he was like, "Purple," and he was like, "We're gonna give you a purple." It's like,
Yeah,
That's right,
Samuel
motherfucker.
fucking Jackson. You're gonna get him.
by the way, like I know they got to choose their own, so like it kind of like each person's lightsaber kind of like goes with their personality because they obviously they're their character. If I looked at 1,000 lightsabers, the lightsaber that Mace Windu has is the most Samuel L. Jackson pick I've ever fucking seen. That is not Mace Windu's lightsaber. That's Samuel L. fucking Jackson's lightsaber.
I mean, it was even purple for Samuel L. Jackson.
I know, but
so-
like, set that
What is
aside.
that
The
supposed to
handle is
mean?
the most Samuel L. Jackson looking thing ever.
I've never seen. I don't know if I've like caught an actual.
Just like the way it looks, like you can just tell he's like, I want the one that's purple, I want the one that's gold, I want the one that's black, I want it to look pretty. It's the most Samuel. I don't know.
I mean, it definitely is like the prettiest one on the council.
makes me think of the Marvel. It's like, hey, don't touch that shit. How does he see both those? He turns. You didn't. No one. No one. Okay.
Next scene.
Begun, the Clone Wars has.
Cut. So we see this scene where Mace Windu jumps off a 1,000-foot fucking thing, and lands perfectly with his cape on fire. How'd you feel about seeing a Mandalorian have a flamethrower in their arm?
A Mandalorian having a flamethrower in their arm.
Django has to. It's a good sound effect. When he tries to light Mace Windu on fire. We'll be back after he watches the movie.
I don't even remember that.
That's the reason Mace Windu jumps off the balcony. Because the scene happens and they like start fighting and then like
All the battle droids run out.
yeah,
onto
all the battle droids come in and he has to start deflecting them and then he's like backing up and he like Django launches him with fire so he jumps off the thing. Also, that fucking green iguana looking T-Rex or dinosaur looking Jedi that tries to go kill
that had the balls to jump in
had
front of Count Dooku.
the balls to walk up to Count Dooku, and Count Dooku didn't
Yeah.
fucking move. Django was just like, boom, 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 gone.
Didn't even flinch. He was like, I look like a dinosaur, and you just looked at me
Yeah,
like I was
dude, I
nothing.
can't think of what that dinosaur's called. That is straight ass a dinosaur.
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, so we have big team battle happening down at the Coliseum.
Yeah, it felt like an Avengers movie.
I'm upset they gave Anakin a green lightsaber.
Yeah, they threw it at him, and I was just like, ugh. I don't know. Like if you've seen our videos, I'm not the biggest green lightsaber guy, and like that just looked wrong with Anakin having a green lightsaber.
No, the worst is when there's a few scenes later. He looks just funny with it. God, you guys, I guess I suck. That's what I'm getting at.
Okay. What few scenes later
When he's fighting Dooku.
when he has both of them?
No, when he just has the green one at the beginning, it sucks. He looks stupid. But no, so we have big team battle, and then Dude, by the way, I feel like way too many Jedi died in that scene.
Well, I mean,
Like, I know they weren't trained for that situation.
I mean, it just goes back to the fact that, dude, there's so many battle droids. Like, they
That's
were
also
so
true.
fucking outnumbered. Battle droids can just keep clicking. Doesn't matter to them. They're fucking just programmed to go like this over and over and over and over.
I think it's funny, like, if you haven't seen the Clone Wars, you don't know, but, like, they give them so much personality in the Clone Wars,
Yeah.
it's funny.
Roger.
Blast him!
Roger.
Roger.
Yeah, it's funny.
I was just promoted! Oh, dude, look up that scene. That scene's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
That didn't, I guess no one else thought it was funny.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, well, you suck. No. Okay, so, get to that scene. How did you feel when you're like, where the fuck's Yoda at? And Yoda just starts coming out of the sky.
Yeah. Why the fuck did it take so long for you guys to get
Yeah,
here?
honestly. Like,
45 people just died.
Right.
More than that.
Well, I just said a number.
Hundreds of them.
Yeah. It was ridiculous, but...
I mean, I kind of had a feeling that something like that was going to happen, but
Before the Avengers, motherfuckers.
right. That's just what it felt like. I was like, oh, there's going to be some fucking quotable line here, and then either Mace Windu is going to fuck everyone up, like he's going to somehow like drop a nuke on them or something, or this army was finally going to fucking show up, so we didn't
Where
get
the
the
fuck
nuke.
is everybody?
Right.
The whole point was showing the clothes the whole movie, and what the hell?
But yeah,
We were watching it, and you know how like they leave the Coliseum and then they go out and they're having like the ground battle of Geonosis. He was like, "Dude, the shot here is like awesome." Like he's like, "I'd be a hell of a wallpaper with all the like
Dude,
the,
so
the,
th-
the
they-
dust cloud and then
They
all
do this shot where I think this is a great shot as well, where
Yeah.
they basically pretend like the cameraman is like in a gunner ship.
right.
And they just show you kind of like dipping through battle. Like it's such a good scene. But like, you know, shitty movie.
yeah.
Not enough action. Was falling asleep during it for sure.
Yeah. So then we have all that happening, and Obi-Wan and Anakin and Padme dip on this ship, and like shit's going down. They're getting shot at and shit, and then Padme just falls. Clumsy little girl. So she falls
Obi-Wan
out.
said, "Hold on," and she didn't do it. I mean, the clone fell off too. So like, I mean,
The one clone that she
You know,
tries
the
to
two
go tell.
Jedis with force powers, they don't fall.
what do you think about the conversation between Anakin and Obi-Wan with Anakin?
Anakin was about to jump with no parachute. He was like full send.
It's love, man. It's just what you do. But he's stupid.
I don't like sand.
Yeah. He doesn't like sand, but he's willing to jump into fucking
Jump into a sand dune.
yeah, a whole fucking desert.
Yeah, they do a lot of sand planets with him. There's actually a super funny interview with, I think it's just Dave Filoni that does it. But so a lot of people, I don't know if you've seen it or not. I know you haven't. But in the new Ahsoka season, they have the return of Hayden Christensen, and I would say like half of those scenes they're doing it on sand.
Yeah,
because
like,
they're
most of it's on
recreating like a
sand.
bunch of different scenes.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Dave's talking about it, and he was like, yeah, he was like, Hayden came onto set, and he's in his nice boots and all these outfits. He comes up to me, and he goes,
fucking sand.
really, man? And Dave's like, what? He's like, sand? They covered the entire set in sand for this scene.
I mean, dude, when they fell like in the world between worlds, they were just on sand basically the rest of the
Yeah,
time.
it was just funny. He was like,
almost
Sand,
all,
really?
almost all of his scenes were on sand.
honestly, I wish they would have done a callback to that.
Yeah.
And they'd been like, he just picked it up, and he was just like,
There should have been like a dust cloud or something to be like, oh, the sand.
you know what, Snips? I don't like sand. Walks through and goes to the next scene.
Actually, you know what? I'm not going to finish your training. Anyways, back to the movie. They obviously get to the hangar. All the fucking main characters get off the ship, and it blows up.
Yeah, we were like main character movie, like main
Moment.
character moment right there.
The ship blows up immediately when they get there.
Yeah.
And then they fight
Dooku.
Dooku.
Doku.
Yeah, he said Dooku, right? Did he not
It's
just?
Dooku. You said Doku.
I said Dooku.
I was making fun of you because you
Oh.
were starting to say
Yeah,
Doku.
okay.
It's not Sudoku.
Whatever the fuck his name is.
Dude.
They were
taking him now.
so they were fighting him, and I thought this was funny because he was like, "Oh, this was another part where Hayden Christensen just fucking wiped out over that little fucking tube thing that runs
Yeah.
across the floor.
That's when
Which is funny
he starts
'cause he-
fighting him alone.
Right, because then he cuts it, which is like, okay, that's kind of funny because it's like,
He's like, I'm not tripping over
right.
this.
And then we were talking about, because Dooku,
Just say count.
fucking get it eventually.
Like
he,
doo-doo. Dooku.
he told me that he was like, in real life, he was an actual like swordsman and like,
That dude lived 400 lives. Well, number one, he's in every great franchise ever. I mean,
yeah, what other?
He's
you
in
said he was-
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, there you
Lord of
go.
the
He's in
Rings.
Star Wars. Dude, he's in fucking everything. But he was in World War II. He was
alive and present at the last
he was
guillotine.
like he was
Yeah.
like is he French or is he
That's what I said.
I think he was either French or British.
he's French or British. He basically worked for their Marine like Navy SEALs.
Okay.
And so, like, there's a famous scene with him in Lord of the Rings where he gets stabbed, and he basically is explaining to the producers what it sounds like to be stabbed because he's either A, heard people get stabbed or stabbed someone. So, like, it's
Maybe both. Probably both.
No, it is both.
Yeah, definitely both.
yeah, well, people don't go, yeah, I shot. My kill count was crazy in
I
World
mean,
War II.
I mean,
I would. Fuck. That'd be cool. as
Mans
hell.
was like 17 years old during the last guillotine execution. Like, it was nuts.
Who?
Christopher Lee.
He
No way. That happened in like the 70s.
The
bud.
last guillotine came
Yeah.
out the same year the first Star Wars came out.
Yeah, it was in the 70s. Was the last guillotine?
The last French guillotine was in 1977. He was way older than 17.
If he was alive in
1977?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's where I got the 7 from, because I swear they said it. I swear I read something that said he was
1917?
No, not 1917. I just got confused with his age because it's 7 in the year.
How old did you say he was? I don't even remember.
He died at like 93.
He was, I think, 95. But
That was not important
I mean-
to correct me.
no, I'm just saying. I think I got the 17 just based off of the 17 or 1977. Just thinking it's. I don't know.
We don't know either.
I mean, I don't know what age he was.
I mean, he was.
I don't know when the last
he was-
guillotine execution
he was
was. I don't
in
know.
19 World War II.
1977. Yes.
That's funny that they.
So that's at least 30 years
So
from
he
World
was
War
at,
II.
he was at least born. Okay, so
I think he
he
was
lived to
born
be
in
like 93. He died in like 2013.
15.
2015.
I looked it up.
So he was
yesterday.
95 years old. So he
So
was
he
born
was
in 1910.
20.
You didn't do math.
Yeah, 1920.
He was born in 1920.
Sorry.
Which means his dad was probably in World War One.
Maybe.
So
I mean, he was 85 years old playing Count Dooku in the third movie.
yeah, dude, still moving.
Yeah, man. Those
He's keeping up
motherfuckers-
with
yeah.
the chosen one at 85 years
Dude,
old.
his life is fucking insane though. He literally is like he was a world fencing champion. He is like
Probably one of the last swordsmen you'd ever hear about. You know what I mean? Like, who the fuck is
he
a
was
swordsman?
he was knighted.
Oh yeah,
He,
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
no,
it's
it's
great.
great.
he was also
No offense, but
he's
we're here.
actually related to like a king of some sort. I can't remember what king it is, but he's related in a bloodline to a king. And
most of them are, yes. Go
and
ahead.
he also some like king in his lifetime tried to get an arranged marriage so he would become the prince of whatever kingdom this was, but he ended up like he didn't do it. But yeah, dude, he had an insane fucking life.
Yeah, I just thought it would be funny to see hating. Like, you're going up against someone who's an actual knight, and then you're just tripping over shit while you're fighting him.
Yeah, I wonder if Chris Spears was like, who the fuck is this kid they brought in?
Just has like an onset meltdown for. Like, I'll fucking do it live then. Fuck it, and just redo it every fucking time, and every time he gets yelled at.
Man,
Dude, it's just scene after scene after scene where he's running and then he falls. or he trips or something.
so then how'd you feel about Dooku disabling Obi-Wan and then fucking chopping Anakin's arm off?
Well, he like blinked when Anakin's arm chopped off because he was like, whoa, where does arm go? And I was like, did you not see it? Did it happen too fast for you?
Dude, it was late, man. All right, I was probably eating too when that happened. But anyway,
He just dismantled them.
yeah, it was just like you guys got your ass kicked, you know.
I mean, Obi-Wan.
And then what? Isn't that when
Obi-Wan,
Yoda comes in?
Yeah, but
right?
but before that, Obi-Wan literally said, "I mean, I can't take him on
Right.
myself." Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he said what was gonna happen, and then Anakin gets electrocuted. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
That didn't look
Anakin made a
fun.
bad play, right? Because
I mean,
he
yeah.
ran in and he just got fucked.
yeah,
Well, he'd never seen Force lightning before.
I think he just wanted to prove himself.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that too. He also he has like
Yeah, he has something to prove. It seems like all the time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what he's been told his
Right.
whole life. All the younglings he grew up with are like, "Oh, this dude's supposed to be this and supposed to be that," and he's like, "Oh, I guess I am supposed to be this."
yeah. So then we have the athletic tree frog that comes in, and he's just. So how did you feel about the?
How'd you feel about how?
How'd you feel about him just throwing his cane and just? It's such a cool. Well, first off, he fucking catches Force lightning, which I can't imagine how that looked like if people stayed that long in the movie theater. But just imagine him shooting. And
In 2002,
Just
watching
catching
that,
that
I would have
shit.
been like,
yeah, dude.
after already seeing the originals, and like what happens with Force lightning. I guess you've seen it because of Family Guy. But like Palpatine using Force lightning in the originals, like that's nuts. And then he's just like, "Yeah, I got you,"
Just
and
eats it too.
then he throws it back at him.
I think he pulls out his lightsaber in such a dope way too. He just like
Walking at half a mile an hour.
and then he's like
Yeah. Well, then he like triple jumps. He's like a little fucking Mario.
you
just
can
jumping around
so
the
like it's
fucking-
funny how
And then he just walks not even a fucking mile an hour across the.
yeah, after he's done, he's just like,
he just forced his cane and
Right.
let's see what Anakin's up to.
He used all of his energy just to triple jump. You know what I mean?
So I think that made me think. So have you ever played a Star Wars Lego game?
I have, yeah.
You can jump like that with Yoda, where he can do like a double flip. Back.
yeah, he'll like jump, and then he jumps again, and then he'll like jump sideways.
Yeah.
And, like it's really weird.
He'll jump and then do a double front flip into a jump. It's weird.
I would like to see how they did that with the puppet.
They just got the stick, and
Dude,
they're
they
like,
probably put him on the end of something and just went. It just
Like a
how
little
many
like a
takes?
tumbler. Like,
imagine
thing
like
they
being an actor.
I don't
like
think
Chris.
I think they CGI'd that.
Well, I don't even know. Like, imagine being Christopher Lee, being like, "Hey, you're gonna fight this puppet." Like,
Yeah,
he's
dude.
like, "I've killed people with
You're
a
a
real
knight."
sword, and now I gotta
Yeah.
fight this puppet with a fake ass lightsaber."
I got this fucking crybaby tripping over fucking tubes, and then I gotta fight a fucking puppet.
Yeah. All right. So then he fucking disappears. Obviously, that's kind of the end of the movie for us. Right? Oh no, it's not.
Well, no, we get to see Sidious. Well,
Yeah.
we get to see Sidious talk to who we find out is Darth Tyrannus, which is Count Dooku. We get to see that conversation and
And then
the Death Star plans and shit.
Oh, that was before that.
Well, we got to see the Death Star plans before that, but that's when he gives it to Sidious. Was when he gets back to Coruscant. He gives
Yeah.
him the Death Star plans. And then
Yeah, dude, they're really good at just like sneaking that shit in. Because I think I don't even know how many times I'd seen that movie before I kind of realized what they were doing. Because like that's one of the scenes that's like if you're not really paying attention to every little person and thing going on, that's something that's so easy to miss.
And then we have a little scene with Yoda, Obi-Wan, and Mace Windu where Obi-Wan's like, well, if the clones didn't show up, we wouldn't have had the victory. And Yoda's like, what the fuck are you talking about, a victory, dude? Like, this just started, dude. Like, come on. It was interesting to see, like, Obi-Wan, like, mature so much from the first movie, but then at the same time still say something like that. Like, we got a victory, and it's
Well,
like,
you also got to think
he doesn't see the bigger picture, though.
Like, they also skipped over all of the middle ground battle of that. Like, he doesn't even know about the factory.
yeah.
To an extent.
I mean, he does know about the factory. He heard the conversation between all of them. But, I mean, he wasn't a part of the battle, like the ground battle. So, I mean, to him, he's just like, oh, they won. But,
Yeah.
I don't know. It was interesting. And then we get to see the wedding, which I want to go there one day. We can go. We can go together, all three of us.
I thought you meant to like get married. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah, we can go get married, Tyler.
that's,
Yeah,
that's a couple laws.
that's
You
a
but-
lot.
you can give me your R2D2, and I'll give you my 3PO.
So you know that's like a weird thing where like people like because I think that's actually just a fan theory, but like it makes perfect sense. But like people think that that's bullshit. They're like, yeah, you guys are just fucking dumb. Like that's
I'm pretty sure that's actually canon because
I wouldn't say that.
I think it is because I think
Did
it's,
they give them that?
Each other.
swap.
Okay, first of all, we talked about how George Lucas does everything on purpose. Like, it's all intentional. It's definitely intentional to fucking...
Well, think about
swap
it. Well,
'em.
no, because
Right.
I remember reading something somewhere being like the only possessions that Anakin has that is his is C-3PO and his lightsaber, and he can't give her his lightsaber,
Right.
so he
Yeah,
gives her
because he
C-3PO.
doesn't have one.
Well, I guess he doesn't there because it broke. But
Be dope if he just gave her a Kyber
no, I'm
crystal
pretty
that she
sure
wore
that
around her
I'm
head.
pretty sure that is canon. And if you guys don't know that, I mean, I don't know if it's canon, I guess, but I feel like I've definitely read that somewhere. But their like wedding rings are supposed to be R2D2 and C-3PO.
Well, and they're trying to keep it secret.
Right, so
So
they
it's
just
like-
Hey, you can't just walk around with
Right.
a wedding band on.
yeah, so
Do
they
they
just
wear wedding rings in Star Wars?
I don't know. But
Fact check that for me, please.
But yeah, they basically give the droids up as wedding rings, and I mean they had more uses for each other. Like, I mean, being in a starfighter all the time, like Anakin kind of needs R2D2, and then she kind of, you know, she has like C-3PO to be like,
There.
yeah, be the comic
friend.
relief,
Be her-
be
her-
the comic
To be
relief,
her best friend.
be the comic relief.
Yeah, dude,
to,
her two best friends are C-3PO and fucking Jar Jar Binks.
Sounds
Hell of a fucking
Sounds like
trio.
an awful girlfriend group, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so I asked you in the first one, second one, what do you rate this movie? So you gave the first one, I don't remember.
He said an 8 to an 8.5. So let's call it an 8.25.
Let's do 8.3.
I would say this was more like a 7 3/4, like a 7.75.
7.7, and then what are you giving the 8? Tell me what you think the 8 is. 8.2, 8.3, 8.4 for the first one.
Yeah, I think it was like 8.5. I think I would give the
so
first one 8.5. Yeah.
Okay. So
I mean,
8.5 down to a 7.7.
Yeah.
I mean, we basically talked about it in the last episode, and I think you've already experienced it from watching a little bit more Star Wars. But the more Star Wars you watch, the more you appreciate other things. And you're already basically just boosting up the first one after watching the second one. And then I think after the third one, you're like, okay, like, I want to, like, he basically told me last night, he's like, I want to watch the Clone Wars. And I'm like, yeah, it's really good Star Wars content.
And that's the thing with the Clone Wars. Like, we'll talk about it more in the next one, too. But, like, the Clone Wars is one of those things that, like, I have a buddy at work that we talked about it where I will say it's not that the first season is bad. The first season is the hardest season to get through because that is legitimately Disney XD, Disney fucking, it's a TV show for kids. And then they realized that only adults were watching it.
Yeah, he told me that yesterday.
So I don't know. I personally think the Clone Wars is the best Star Wars rendition of best project Star Wars has.
Like TV show?
Everything. I think the Clone Wars.
Out of the movies, too?
I think it's the best thing. Obviously,
There's
it's long as shit. So like, there's a lot to take in. But like, if you jam everything and like, the Clone Wars is its own entity. Ahsoka's its own thing. Episodes 1 through 9, all this shit. I think the Clone Wars is and it's kind of hard to say that because there's so many things that are jammed into it and they cover so much time. But I think the Clone Wars is the best media piece of Star Wars.
It's an interesting comparison comparing a TV show to a movie. Obviously, TV shows get to dive more into detail than a movie can. But even with that being said, these are just like 20-minute episodes. So it's like they're still getting in a lot of content within such a short period of time. And there's some really cool shit that we get from the Clone Wars that...
The Clone Wars will only... If you like Star Wars, the Clone Wars will only make you love Star Wars. If you were to watch the first 6 movies and then watch the Clone Wars, or watch the first 3 and then watch the Clone Wars, and after you're done with the Clone Wars, go, yeah, I don't like Star Wars as much now. I legitimately would
not be my
have
friend.
to fight you. I would legitimately fight you.
I'd be like, how the hell did you say you like the movies? And then you watch the Clone Wars and you're like, yeah, I don't like it's kind of just okay. Like, what?
I think it's the best thing in Star Wars.
Yeah. The third movie is my favorite movie, but yeah, I mean, the Clone Wars is like...
I think the Clone Wars is better than the third movie.
The Clone Wars
I think the Clone Wars is better than the 5th movie and the 6th movie.
The Clone Wars
critically-
is untouchable, dude.
Probably not. It's a cartoon animation. It's 20-minute episodes. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, yeah, I would rank the Clone Wars like on a critical scale higher than I would the fifth movie, because the fifth movie is ranked like the 15th best movie of all time. But there's just so much shit that happens, and there's so much good backstory and storytelling.
And characters get explored that don't get explored.
Dude, you just fall in love with weird characters. I think that's where our Plo Koon weird obsession came from. Like, and they do that for a ton of the characters. And some characters it makes you hate even more, and some characters it makes you like a lot.
Fucking.
Like, as much as they show them in good light, the Tridarians I fucking hate. Their noses are disgusting.
Or Pon Krell.
Krell is a bitch too. Krell is a bitch.
Oh, dude, I remember watching that.
You want to see Krell?
I remember what. Can I continue or no?
Go ahead.
I remember watching it with my girlfriend for the first time, and she was like, "I fucking hate that dude."
This is Jedi Master Krell. I don't know if you guys can see that too well. It's kind of dark. But this is Jedi Master Krell. He's a fucking bitch.
He's a piece of shit.
For what reason?
You have to watch to
You'll
find out.
find the fuck out.
Is he the same species as that fucking
No.
smelly guy?
No.
From
The smelly guy?
Yeah,
he is.
he
He's the same
said-
species as Dex.
Oh, I thought he was talking about the Gungan from the first movie.
No. Him and Dex are the same
Yeah, they are.
species.
It looks like it.
They are.
Yeah.
Him and Dex are the same species.
I need to get a Dex Funko.
You should probably show them that you have it all.
Oh, yeah, I have a Funko wall. I don't know if that's ever been said on here.
No, it hasn't. It's not complete yet. You got to complete it first.
Yeah, dude, there's like 5 new fucking Sith Lords that I need to get. I still need to get my Han Solo pops. I got to finish the Bounty Hunter collection. I have a shit ton, and I thought about adding another row.
You're ridiculous.
There's so many good ones, though. And I need to get those other ones off there and put onto their own shelf because they're not Star Wars.
Anyways, back to the podcast. So we're here with Ryan. Episode 1, he has an 8.5 out of 10. Episode 2, he has a 7.75 out of 10. You excited for more Star Wars?
Yeah, I want to watch them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go watch Star Wars, guys.
I think that's kind of what we've said every episode. But
I mean,
If you're here, you probably watched it, though.
if you haven't seen the TV shows, go watch the TV shows.
it's a lot. I love it,
Worth
though.
it.
Yeah,
Are we gonna recap that on here too? Is that what you guys want me to do?
What, the Clone Wars? Holy shit.
I mean, I don't know how you'd split that up. That'd be a
The arcs.
bitch, probably.
I've been trying to convince my brother for me and him to sit here and go through all the arcs in the Clone Wars together.
I mean, if you guys want to comment and say that you'd want to hear that, and this means like arc by arc, which means 3 episode arcs, and there is a dick ton of arcs.
So there's about 24 episodes in a season. There's about 2 to 4 episodes of an arc. So let's call it 3 in the middle. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So there's about 8 arcs per season, and there's 7 seasons.
So we're
56
talking,
arcs.
let's just say 60 fucking arcs.
And how many arcs would you want on an episode of this?
just one.
There's no way.
So you have 60 episodes.
I think it should be a series. I think it'd be fun.
I mean,
it could be like 10 minutes.
I don't give a shit
not
what you
a fucking podcast. It could be just an
comment
episode.
if you would like to see that. If we see one person, I'll probably have to do it. But
I'm gonna go on there and comment.
That would be cool. I think it'd be cool.
all right, we need to wrap.
All right, yeah. You guys have anything else? All right.
I don't like sand.
I love sand. This has been My Trick Media. Thanks, guys.